welcome to yet another episode of Mental Odyssey. My name is Sarah, and today I have a very special guest, my mother-in-law, my husband's mom. That's what mother-in-law. Anyway, welcome to the podcast, Marisa.
Thank you.
Yes. Oh, here, I'll do a little applause for you. Joey loves this.
Oh.
Oh, wait, no, not that. This one.
Okay,
Yay.
that's better. Ha ha, your mother-in-law's here.
Just laugh about it. Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I am excited to hear your answers, even though you say they're all going to be the same. I don't believe you.
Same.
I don't believe you. It might be the same, but we'll get there.
Okay. I'll try to be positive.
There you go. There you go. So the first question is how to handle rejection.
Okay. I'm going to try not to give you the Gen X answer.
Which is
suppress that shit.
Push it down.
Push it down like a winner.
Like a winner.
And don't think about it or talk
my
about
God.
it. And then immediately jump into another relationship and pretend that the first one never happened. That's the Gen X answer.
Just keep going.
Just keep going. Just keep going. Get through the day. But the reality is, everybody handles rejection a little bit differently, and it's important to acknowledge and not necessarily embrace and welcome those negative feelings that come along with rejection. And this is talking like it's either relationships or you get fired from your job or,
Right.
something negative happened that makes you feel rejected. It's important to not push your feelings down, to acknowledge those feelings and really look at them and kind of just own that they're there and they're gonna be there for a while.
Right.
And it's not gonna feel good.
Right.
And there's not anything that you can do to replace those feelings. Like, you just have to own that that's the space you're gonna live in for a bit and be okay with it. Because otherwise you find yourself getting in trouble with things like, if it's a relationship that you're rejected from, you jump right into another relationship because new relationships always feel good.
Right.
And you know that that's going to make you feel good. So you'll jump right into another, and that's not going to fix or heal the feelings that you had from the previous
one.
rejection.
Yeah. If anything, it takes the chance to actually move on away.
Correct.
Because then the next time you're broken up, it's like, okay, now I have two of them to deal with, or not.
Exactly. So, I mean, handling it is, like, you just have to own the space and understand and acknowledge that it will hurt.
Right.
And from the pain, there is the lesson. And once you have felt that and you didn't try to cover it up or put a Band-Aid on it by, finding something that feels good that makes you not look at those hurt feelings, then that's when you could get yourself into trouble.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that a lot of people end up down a bad path.
Correct.
With
We've
rejection,
all done that. Yeah.
Right? Like taking it a really hard way and then doing something destructive because of it.
That is correct. Yeah.
I really like that answer because it really is important to just be like, you know what? It's going to suck for a while.
Yeah.
It's going to suck for a while, and that's just where we are.
You're not going to feel super good.
And, like, it's okay that it's going. Like, there's no other way that it's going to be.
You still have to get up the next morning. You still have to take a shower.
Right.
You still have to take care of yourself and pay your bills and, like, do all the things that you have to do every day. And you just have to do those things knowing that your heart is going to hurt.
Yes.
For a time.
Right.
But that hurt will pass.
Yeah. Yeah.
It depends on how big the rejection was.
Right. Right. Have you been at the company for like 14 years and you're like the first one that they laid off or something? Or...
Exactly. Like you gave your whole heart and soul into your job or a project or the relationship. And then boom, the whole world cracks beneath your feet and you don't know what to do with yourself.
No, exactly.
Covering it up isn't going to help. So you just have to have those tears.
Yep.
Spend that day in bed if you can.
Yeah.
Like, do what you got to do, but definitely still get up and take a shower at some point.
Right. Keep that discipline to keep you being a human.
Correct.
Yeah. No, I love that answer. Thank you for that. So the next question I have is, what is the antidote to loneliness?
Now, I am not a good person to ask because I am never lonely. I love being by myself. I love being alone. I love no one there bothering me or making noise or messes. I am totally good at entertaining myself and sitting in my own thoughts. Like, I don't know what the antidote to loneliness is because I love that shit. I love being by myself.
It's almost like I have to ask you the opposite of this question.
You kind of do.
What is the antidote to being annoyed by people?
Being annoyed by people? Here's how you can do that. You can just be completely upfront and real and be like, you know what? I'm not good at peopling and I'm going to bounce. I'm going to go now because I can't do this for that long. I can only handle you guys in small doses and I'm going home.
Where was this lesson when I was having extreme anxiety in social situations? You're like, actually, just leave.
Just leave.
Just don't be in social situations.
Don't get, and explain it. Like, I'm always honest with people when I get invited to parties or like group things. I'm just completely honest and say, you know what, I might show up for 5 minutes, but full disclosure, I am an arrive late and leave early kind of girl, and I might not have a great time while I'm there because I just don't like to do stuff with others.
Honestly,
so I love you, but I don't want to hang out.
Right.
That's like, you have to be honest and say, I'm just not the type that will do this because I love being alone so much.
Right. I'm
Probably
that way
more.
with being home.
Yeah.
I like in that spot right there in my robe.
Yeah, for
watching
sure.
a nice little show.
Absolutely.
Preferably with my husband, but if not, like this is like where I want to be, and I do that out and about. I'm like, you know what? Like with the work parties that I'm invited to, I'm like, my bedtime's like 10. And even if I come home and stay up till midnight, like, that's my business.
And that's okay. Like you do what you want to do.
Decompress from the social situations. Like, it's insane that I would say that both of us have the jobs that we have, having the mentality of like, I would much rather not be having this conversation right now. But like, my job requires me to be like overly positive, overly talkative, asking people about their day, and like I care. I actually care about what people's day are going like. But
well, that's just it. It's you have empathy for others.
I do.
You take on those emotions. Yes. You're feeling what they're feeling.
Yes.
And that
draining.
Takes a lot of energy out of somebody.
It's draining.
And so when that's all done, when that aspect of your job is done, the only thing you want to do is nothing with others.
Literally.
Like, be by yourself.
Yeah, and not even be in the real world.
Correct.
Like, I want to be somewhere else.
It comes down to being super comfortable in your own skin and being okay being by yourself.
Right.
And appreciating and having gratitude for being alone in solitude and silence and really, like, letting it encompass you, and so you can kind of see the bigger picture and decompress from all other people's nonsense.
Right, because it's draining.
I always
especially
think,
being empathetic.
Like, if I'm stranded on a deserted island, totally fine.
Totally
like, fine.
At least I have my own space.
Yeah, totally fine. Like, do I have coconuts and bananas? Cool.
Literally.
I'm all right.
I'm alive. Okay.
It's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Yeah, I very much need people more than that, but not all.
Right.
Like, not people blanket statement. Like, my people.
You need your people.
I need my people. Yeah. I need to have, like, social interaction. I would go crazy without it. But also, like, I always wanted to be a therapist. And the more I've grown, the more I've realized that I'm just too empathetic and neurotic. Like, I am too swayed by other people's emotions. Like, I'll do it for my friends and family because it rewards me back. If somebody in my life can grow from something that I say, all for it. But I don't think I could get paid to do that job. Like, I think I would be very drained as a person, especially because I don't get to see how it plays out in the end. Like, a lot of people stop going to therapy. How did that story finish? I have no fucking clue.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Like,
and I think therapists are able to like put things in compartments
Right.
and separate and
Right.
leave the office.
right.
But I don't know if I could be
I
the
have a hard
person
time doing
that
that.
leaves the office. Like I would be so worried and sad for
Right.
them, for those experiences.
Right.
So I don't know.
I can't even leave my job right now at work, and it's just coffee.
Yeah.
Like, I can't.
Right.
There's too much going on. So, back to the drawing board on that. But that's a fun answer. That's the first time I've got that one.
Yeah.
So.
I love being alone. Leave me alone.
You're like, I don't need an antidote.
I don't need an antidote. I am
could
the
do
antidote.
with more. So the next question that I have is, how did you pick your career?
Okay, I'm going to a little bit blame my father for that. So when I was 18, I moved here to Tri-Cities, and my dad really wanted me to work at Red Lobster. He was
Ooh.
like, Marisa, if you work at Red Lobster, you're gonna have fun, and you're gonna make a lot of money because you're pretty, and people are gonna give you tips, and you'll have cash in your pocket every day. And he really, like, Red Lobster was like the cream of the crop of all the restaurants. He's like, I just want to see you working at Red Lobster. He was just itching for me to work at Red Lobster. So I got a job as a hostess at Sterling's, and then I started serving breakfast shift from there, which,
Okay.
side note, breakfast money as a server, that is where it's at. If you're
Oh,
able to get
yeah.
up early in the morning, you will make just buckets of money working a breakfast shift at a breakfast restaurant. So that's how I started. And then I did apply at Red Lobster and fulfilled my dad's dream of having me work at Red Lobster. And once you've worked in a couple of restaurants, you're kind of host. You either need to decide, like, hey, I'm going to do something else with my life. I'm going to get trained in something else. Or you're just going to be in restaurants forever.
Right.
So once I did that and just started working in more restaurants, pretty soon I started getting offered management positions, and then I was just a restaurant manager for years and years and years. That's all I did was restaurant management, which is great because when an opportunity presented itself to own a restaurant, now I had tools. So
Right.
you can use, working in restaurants as a stepping stone to achieving more out of a restaurant,
Right.
which I recommend. Like, if you're going to do it, go all the way and
Right.
keep getting a bigger job. Be, a general manager and an area manager and a district manager,
Right.
Regional and whatever. Like, you can do that, but I would rather see young people have that restaurant job while paying for college and,
Right.
do something else.
Doing something
I
with
did
it.
not do something else. I just kept going, and now, it's like second skin. I can do that job in my sleep, and that's
Right.
not a big claim to fame.
You're like, I wish I could do more.
Right. Like, this is what I
Yeah.
do. I do it exceptionally well. And, that's great and good for me. And I do make a bit of money. But I would recommend to young people that if they're going to get into restaurants, go ahead and get out of restaurants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Nothing
it's
wrong
not
with it.
something you can do forever.
Right. Like,
And they don't offer
I'm
benefits.
47 years old, and my body is suffering the consequences of my actions being
Right.
on my feet all day, every day. And,
Right.
and you're right. Most of the time, there are no benefits. There's no
Yeah.
401ks or health insurances unless you get into management. So,
Right.
it's a
Yeah.
catch-22. The money is really good and the hours are good, but you can't go to the doctor.
Right.
So-
Right. No, it's in our society is set up
Yeah.
to where you're going to play by the rules. You're
Right.
going to go get the job that's going
Right.
to get you the health insurance that's going to
Correct.
make it
Yeah.
affordable for that. Like, it's kind of crazy to me that we have healthcare so readily available, and yet it is not available to
Right.
a large amount of people.
That's exactly right.
It's
right.
insane to me.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
this country. Don't get me started. That's a whole different podcast.
She says,
I will
"Have
tell
me
you
back.
all about
Have
it.
me back."
That is a whole nother podcast. You want to talk about some Europe? Let's talk about it.
Right. I would like to have that conversation
we'll have
because Okay, so the last question that I have is, what has it been like to be in a long-term relationship?
There is some great security in being in a long-term relationship. On one hand, there's a lot less try that you need to have, but that can also be an Achilles heel.
Right.
And long-term relationships are great in that, you know each other so well, nobody knows the other person better than you.
Right.
And the other way around.
Right.
And there's wonderful security in that. And, you don't even have to talk to each other to know what the other one will already want in any given situation. And that's great.
It is.
But I would caution people to not be too comfortable in the security of, well, this person already knows me. Like, I always say the best advice that I can give people is, if you want your relationship to last and you can see yourself 20 years down the road, if you wouldn't do it on your first date, don't do it on your 2000th date.
Right.
Like, you still want to have a bit of mystery. You still want to be impressive to the other person.
Right.
Like,
and respectful.
And if you're not going to belch at the table and break wind on your first date,
right,
don't do it at home. Like, still want to be attractive to your partner by not doing things that you wouldn't do on day one.
Yeah.
Like, keep that alive. Right. And I think that's helpful to a relationship.
You taught your son well.
Oh, good. Yay.
Yeah. He goes in the other room.
Oh, I love that. Thank God.
I wish he wouldn't burp in front of me. That's always going to happen. That boy has too much mouth gas.
I mean, at least 50% at least he leaves the room.
At least the part that lingers, he takes away from me, which is nice. Good. But there are times where I'll be like in the bedroom, and he'll rip ass in the bedroom and then like force me out of the room because of how he's like, get out now. He's like screaming at me to get out.
Well, at least he's got some self-awareness. We're halfway there. Thank God. I wish he needs to rub off on Sam.
Yeah.
So, because Sam doesn't care where he is. He's just breaking wind and belching all over the place. I think he does it because it bothers me.
Yeah.
I know he does it because it bothers me, because I really hope he doesn't do it in front of like prospective girlfriends.
Right. Right.
At the end of the day, like, girls don't like it unless you're the girl that does it. Like, there's a lot of girls out there that are nasty and that'll just break wind and belch all over town, and they're like, this is who I am. Like, congratulations, bud, but
good for you.
Good for you.
Yeah, if it's mutual combat, you've both decided that that's just, you don't want to have to walk into the other room to do it. I didn't even think about how important it was that he did that until I was talking with one of my married friends the other day, and she was like complaining about her husband ripping ass. And I was like, I don't remember the last time I smelled another person's fart.
Nice.
Like, and I live with a man.
Yeah.
Who farts.
Yeah.
Like,
everyone does it, but how respectful are you going to be about it? Like, it is something gross, and I don't know, it just depends on who you are as a person. There are some women that are not bothered. They are just not bothered by it. I am not one of those women. I feel like it's a respect issue. I think it's gross. And I know that when you break wind, there's just poop particles just molecules just floating around in the air.
You're like, I don't want to think about breathing
waiting to
that
land on your open beverage. Like, I can't live in a world where someone's poop particles are floating around my Coke. Like, I don't want that. So,
oh my God.
And you also don't want to, somebody's going to break wind in your face and then expect to have sexy time. Like, I can't do that.
It's something I didn't think about, but Tomas talks about it all the time, where he's like, I want you to still be attracted.
Yes.
He goes out of, I have never, maybe once or twice have I smelled his shit.
Yeah.
After he uses the bathroom, because he's just like, I don't want you to not be attracted to me.
That's I am so proud.
Like, he stresses it. Like,
I
it is a big deal. I am
proud of that boy, and I need
mission
him
accomplished
to rub off on his brothers.
Proud mom moment.
Absolutely.
He wasn't the college kid.
My
but
little boy doesn't poop in front of his wife. I'll take it. I love it. That makes me so happy.
Oh my God. We'll have to leave a note for him.
Your mom is proud that you poop on the DL.
On the DL. Oh my God. That's so funny. Now I see where he gets it from.
Yeah.
I also see where he gets the loving to be alone.
Yeah.
Like, it's been an interesting time trying to find a way to not necessarily, like, insert myself in his hobbies, but, like, find a place to exist within his hobbies, because most of the time he's just like, I want to go and play pool alone. Yeah. Like, I want to go and sit somewhere alone. Right. So,
I mean, it's great to just be with yourself and lost in your own thoughts, and that's wonderful. Right. That you don't need to have someone else. It's nice to have someone else, of course
but to not need it.
But to not need it.
Right. Yeah. To be comfortable enough in yourself. Right. Which is something when I was younger, I was codependent as fuck. Yeah. Like, I needed other people, you know? And I'm very glad that I am not that way anymore, and that I have found some kind of comfort in, like, the solitude. Yeah. You know? Yeah. It's
my mom is that way. She needs to have other people. Right. She can't stand it if she's going to be awake and no one else is around to sit next to her. Yeah. That drives her nuts. Yeah. But, I mean, what are you going to do?
Right. I have a little bit of that. Like, I very much, if me and Tomas go, like, a whole day living in the same house and not seeing each other, I'm going to be like, hey, where you at? Where'd you go? Because, like, I like having conversation at points in the day. Yeah, you know,
I can see that.
Like, it's important to me to be able to communicate with another person, but my thoughts can get me into, like, a really bad mood. Yeah. Like, if I'm left alone with my thoughts too often, that's why I just watch a little show. Just watch a little show. Yeah. Think about their problems, not mine.
See, I don't know. I think it can also be a problem to be a person that wants to be alone so much, or that's okay being alone so much, because also that brings with it not recognizing someone else's need. Like, if you are in a relationship with someone, it's your job to recognize what their needs are. Mm-hmm. And if you're so by yourself and solitary all the time,
you're not thinking about
You're not thinking about what they need, and maybe they do need to interact more, and maybe they do need you to give them a little bit of attention, and there's nothing wrong with that. For me, I don't require any attention at all. Right. I will never notice if I don't receive flowers. I will never notice. It's not on my radar of things to notice that I have not received a gift from my spouse or whoever. Right. So I also, on that same hand, need to recognize that other people do need that acknowledgement. Exactly. Other people do need, giving them something once in a while, whether it's some of your time or attention or, taking care of them on some level. Like, most people do need that, and that's normal, and it's nice. It is. And just because I don't doesn't mean that, I can't offer it. Right. Which is why I just rather be single, because now I don't have to bother with acknowledging someone else's feelings. Right.
Especially when you aren't, like, a big feeler. Right. Like, you don't spend a lot of time thinking about your feelings. Right. It's not.
Right.
Yeah.
I suppress them.
Like, shove them down.
Shove them down.
Shove them down.
They don't exist.
Feelings. What are those? Only weak people have those.
You weakling.
You think I'm weak?
Crybaby.
That is the generation that you were raised in. So
we are very self-sufficient. The Gen Xer.
You had to be.
We got it.
There wasn't a choice.
We weren't allowed to go inside. Yeah. Like, are we gonna get kidnapped? Maybe.
Right.
It's a roll of the dice.
But that is your problem, not mine. Right. My problem is this house.
That's right.
Get out there. Yeah. You better not be home before the sun goes down.
That's correct. I don't know. I think that bred its own problems.
Right.
Being a Gen Xer. Like, we are pretty closed to a lot of issues that younger people are not closed to. Like, younger people are definitely way more okay exploring their own feelings, and not only that, but talking about them out loud. Right. Like, that is a completely foreign subject to me.
Yes.
Having a young person be okay with talking about their feelings. Like, I don't know if it's obnoxious and annoying or if it's positive. Like, I think it's always positive to explore your feelings, and it's always positive to talk about them. Right. But I just don't understand the concept of being so very okay with talking to literally anyone at all, strangers. Right. And, I hope it's positive in the future. I hope we see in the future that people have embraced that and we have a more open relationship with others.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's a very big difference from what you grew up in to where it is now, where it's like, please don't say anything that's going to hurt anybody's feelings.
Right.
And so being from the way that you were raised and seeing the way kids are raised now, it's like, come on, you pansies.
Right.
Like we weren't even allowed to have feelings.
Right.
Like, you want me to operate based on yours when, like, mine have never even been thought about or, like, given a time of day?
It's so foreign. Yeah. I don't know, but then on the other hand, I feel like they can't handle a lot emotionally.
Right.
Like, everything results in this big emotional...
Right. The resilience isn't built
There's
there.
not a lot of bounce back from young people. But what I'm hoping is, and only time will tell, is with all of this emotion and, you know, all of the tears and all of the wearing your heart on your shirt sleeve, hopefully by the time they are middle-aged, what we're going to see is a very emotionally mature individual. So it's going to be really interesting to see the way Gen Z is at my age.
Yeah, hopefully I'm kind of hopeful because like at my age, I have actually seen the pendulum swing. Like it went, I know that my parents had it like very strict. Yeah. Like I know that my parents were like phically beat. Yeah. You know, like that was not only acceptable but expected. That's what I'm saying. I was telling Tomas about that. I was like, you used to not even be able to escape that at school. Right. Like your teacher could lay their hands on you and not blink twice. You would get
spanked at school and come home and get spanked for getting spanked at school. Like,
right. And so I've seen, and I know people that experienced that, that grew up in that, that have a very like set perspective of the world because of the experience that they had. But I also have seen people that were growing up where it was like, okay, we can kind of start talking about our emotions. It's still kind of taboo, but like, at least we can talk about them now to like, you are expected to talk about, like, I hope that it does, like you said, settle out into kind of like a medium.
I hope so too, because the drawback to being of my generation where you are spanked in school, like the principal would have a paddle on his wall. Like everyone was afraid to go to the principal's office because you might get spanked. Like we were raised to not question authority and to do exactly what we were told. Right. And look where that got us in politics. Right. My generation, we just shut our mouths and we accept what is being handed to us. And that is not okay. Right. Whereas the younger generations are okay standing up and saying, whoa, 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 whoa. Not cool, man. Yeah. That hurts. Ouch. Yeah. Like they're okay saying no. I love that my children are okay saying no. And that saying no is not being disrespectful. Right. It's making a choice to say, I choose not to experience what you're dishing out right now. And I'm okay looking you in the eyes and saying no. Yeah. That's wonderful. I was never allowed to say no to an adult. Right. And I never wanted my kids to feel like they could not say no when something made them uncomfortable. Exactly. So I'm hoping that this younger generation's ability to say no is going to start shining. Right. And become helpful and not a hindrance.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out because we're on that other. Yeah. It feels very much like we're on the other end of the. Like, I watched a show from the early 2000s the other day with Joey. Yeah. And we were looking at each other like, did that just happen? Huh? Yeah. They just did that on canceled now. Right. Like there's no way that could stand up.
You're not allowed to even hint at hurting someone's feelings now. Like But whereas before, God, everything goes. Like everything goes. Yeah. And you can kind of see the generations rebelling. Like you can see the now generation saying, "Oh my God, that is so not okay." And you can see like the boomers and the X are saying, shut up and handle it. I know what's best. You be quiet. You be quiet. I am going to fight you tooth and nail. I'm going to live forever so that I can be a congressperson forever and ever and ever, and you just have nothing to say about it. Yeah. I'm going to be 117 years old and still making
hold office.
So, I don't know. I mean, they have to die sometime.
Right.
Here's hoping.
Yeah. Fuck.
But then there's my generation to contend with. Like, we're the next boomers because we were raised by boomers.
Right.
So we still carry a lot of those ideologies of shut up, be quiet, sit down, and don't make a nuisance of yourself. Yeah. There's a lot of my generation that feels that way. And that's super unfortunate.
It is. It is sad.
Yeah.
It's sad to just see him. Like, I see my mom and she operates like a worker.
Yeah. We're worker bees.
Like,
that's what
she
we
is
are.
that is like most of what she is.
Yep, that's what I am.
Like, she's a wife after she comes home from work
comes
and
first.
when she's awake on the weekends.
Yeah.
You know?
Work comes first.
Which is crazy to me because, I mean, I was raised with a very good work ethic and I was taught you have to work to make money. Like, you have to go and get the job that's going to get you the next one that's going to help you move up. Like, I was taught that. But I also, like, I have learned from my experience and actually being mindful of the emotional effect that my jobs have had on, like, my well-being.
Yeah. And
I'm not willing to stay at a job that is going to tear me down.
That is a foreign concept to me. Like, you're
like, well, just work harder.
Staying at a job that tears me down. Yeah. I'm okay taking it on the chin time and time and time and time again. Like, I let so much stuff roll. It pays a toll. I mean, your body suffers for it and your mind suffers for it. But I mean, there is something to be said about longevity at a job, but there's also something to be said about unhappiness as well. Like, you're not willing to put up with nonsense for the sake of your own happiness.
Yes.
I would rather put up with all the nonsense and not be happy so that I have job security and longevity. The return for me is that I am relied upon. I'm reliable. I'm dependable. I know that it's going to take a lot for me to get fired. You have that stability. I have that. But then on the other hand, how happy am I? You know, I wish I had enough courage to do something different, something that makes me happier, because there's not a lot of stability in that to me. So I don't know. I think kids these days are champions for themselves, despite what their parents taught them. Like, my parents taught me not to be a champion for myself. My parents taught me to be quiet and listen to authority. And be respectful and follow the rules. Your parents taught you the same thing. Yes. Yet somehow your generation is coming out of it saying, whoa, I don't accept mistreatment. Which is wonderful, especially in the realm of relationships. You are not willing to be mistreated. And that is wonderful. Yes. My generation loves being mistreated. We love it. Eat it up. We love it. Punch me in the face. Do it again. Do it again. I'll be strong enough. I won't cry. I'll push through. Oh my God. No tears for you. It's probably just like a little replay of childhood. Yeah, probably. I haven't gotten in trouble in a while. Just send me to the principal's office. I can take it. I can take it. Yeah, I'm glad things are changing, but it'll be interesting. I don't know where it's gonna land. It's getting kind of dicey right positively. Now. I hope so too. I don't know. I am not naturally optimistic. So. I can't take it here anymore. Literally. I'd be down. It. We need next podcast is going to be about that. That's right. It's going to be about why America sucks. Yeah, basically. Yeah. Why we would like other places. This country is a different country from when I was a kid. Yeah. You know, America used to mean something. America was great when I was a kid. It was a wonderful place to be and, you know, patriotic in all the right ways. We're so divided by social media and the news and we're just a nation of narcissistic crybabies and consumers. Like much of the human existence here is, and we're just on a wheel. We are just running and running and running on that wheel to make ends meet. Like when I was a kid, there were various classes of people. You could be middle class. There's no middle class today. No. You're either living paycheck to paycheck or you're not. Right. There is no in between. Yep. And that's very, very sad. It is. It's a hard time to be becoming an adult. Yeah. Like, I have nothing. Yeah. I have nothing established. I have no home. I have
a car.
And it's sad that you don't even have, like, there's no light at the end of the tunnel for you either.
No.
These things are so unattainable for your generation. Like, it's absolutely crazy what it takes and how much it takes just for you to achieve the same thing that my generation achieved by having one job.
It's nice to hear that acknowledged. Because, like, I've been nihilistic basically my whole life. Like, I have very much struggled with a, like, why am I still doing this mindset? Like, why am I trying so fucking hard in a place where it doesn't work? Be in a society that, first of all, refuses to accept the fact that it's not working.
Right.
But, like, second of all, it really doesn't.
It doesn't work.
The house or the price of houses from when I was 18
it's
to now when I'm 26. Yeah. I bought a house for $260,000 when I was 19. And it has doubled.
Yep.
Since then.
Yeah.
For the same house.
They make it impossible for people with average jobs of average wage. Right. It is impossible for those people to purchase a home. Impossible.
And if I wanted just what my mom had growing up, which would be to stay home with her kids.
Right.
At least until they're out of school.
That makes 6 figures.
Then I need a husband that makes well over like 6 figures. Yeah. Like if I want any possibility of being a homemaker, I have to have, or just accept that I am going to be in debt for the majority of my life, which is a hard place to be because nobody in my family prepared me for the idea. Yeah. They were like, if you work hard, you will get paid. If you get paid, you will have what you need. And now it's like, if I work hard, I am going to be disrespected at my job and written up and told I'm going to be fired.
And still not get what you need.
My bills are not being paid. Right. And I'm not getting hours. Yeah. And my loyalty means jack shit. And my hard work means nothing. Correct. And I'm applying for these jobs that I'm overqualified for. And they won't hire me because, like, there's so many problems.
There's so many
obstacles.
Absolutely ridiculous. And when kids and the boys have said, Mom, we don't want to have kids because it's so hard, and I, of course, fight it because I want all the grandbabies. But I look back and I can see the big picture. Like, if you can't even afford yourselves, you're never going to be able to afford a child. Right. And,
without being in
I think
crippling
my
debt.
generation was the last generation that could have kids successfully. And we're going to see a huge drop in how many people are having kids because kids these days totally understand, like, whoa, wait a minute, I don't actually have to have children. Right. That's not part of the American dream. Like, I'm just trying to feed myself and provide shelter for my own self.
The American dream has gotten so much smaller because it used to be like a family and a house and a good job and a retirement plan.
Only the elite will be able to have children.
Literally.
And it's going to be us
and that's a scary fucking
working.
Place to be.
Yeah. And it's not fair. And it's not right. And, we work just as hard as the next guy, but we don't have anything to show for it. And there's a problem there. Yeah. When the cost of things has skyrocketed, I will go to the grocery store and spend $150 every third day just on things that we need at the house. Right. That same shopping experience 6 or 7 years ago was $50. Right. Things have tripled in price.
Including houses.
They make it impossible to live.
Right.
It's
the price of a used car. Yeah. Like, are you kidding me?
You used to be able to spend $15,000 and get a really nice used car or a low-end new car. For $15 grand.
Yeah. Now it's like you can pay $25,000 for either a used car or like an okay new car.
Right. That'll last you 5 years.
Yes.
That starts breaking down after 5 years. Right. It's ridiculous. 25 grand with high interest.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's impossible to achieve.
It is.
It's depressing.
It is.
Now I'm depressed.
Fuck. Should have saved it for the next podcast.
Damn it. How to get over depression.
Literally,
Well, you
literally,
don't.
you
Not
fucking,
in this country.
You wake up every day that you're allowed to wake up.
Yep.
By the grace of nature.
Yep.
And you do what you can.
And you do what you can.
And you do what you can.
Maybe you drink a little.
Yep. Smoke, drink, do your thing. You know.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. We're here for time.
At least we got internet.
Yeah. At least we got Netflix. Well, this has been fun.
Thank
I really
you for
enjoyed
having me.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
Hopefully it wasn't too disappointing.
Not at all. Not at all. I think this was nice.
Oh, good.
I enjoyed it. Mental Odyssey is a Dream and Do podcast, produced and edited by yours truly. The music is owned by Chill Hop, and this song is Velocities by Sleepy Fish. Go check them out. Thanks for being here.